Okay, it's 11:29. It's September 12th, and it's time for me to do another video. Despite how crappy I feel, but I've got really one choice, and that's either kill myself or not kill myself. And as long as I'm not killing myself, I'm going to try to get some things done. I'm trying to be helpful. I'm going to try to be useful, because it's not that I'm just bored. I'm actively miserable here. And I just really want to get away from the pain and suffering that I'm in. I went and saw a naturopath about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago exactly. Wait, is it Monday? Yeah, it's Monday. No, yeah, Monday. Sunday. Tuesday. Sorry. Fucking brain, start working for me. It's 15 days ago I saw the naturopath, and she's diagnosed me positively for mycoplasma and Lyme Borrelia. So I'm on a few different things now for that. More crap to take for that, and who knows if I'm being hit with a microwave, who knows if I'm being affected by the sun, who the hell knows what. But we know for a fact that the world is in an urgent condition. It's always been in a horrible condition. It's in crisis mode right now, and that we've got to do something pretty soon here. Otherwise, we are going to get ourselves onto the road that we're so sick, we're so exhausted, we're so weak, that we're not going to be able to get anything done at all. We're not going to be able to organize. We're not going to be able to do the little that salvation requires. Unfortunately, the people that are most instrumental, call them light workers, whatever you want to call them, the earth angels, however you like to refer to awakened souls that need to get involved, are being targeted the most, as I am, by darkness, to remain weak, remain isolated, such that we can't get together and do what needs to get done. And this is obviously very evident to you if this has happened to you, if you're one of those lollygagging idiots, if you're one of these spiritual people that loves money and all this stuff. You don't even know what the hell I'm talking about right now, so go do your stupid little law of attraction thing. But we are in crisis mode here. We made it to the eclipse on August 21st. I said around there that it was going to have to be the last time that we ever expect anything outside of us to create the shift that we're yearning for so badly, and that we have to create. By the way, it's not just going to happen without us. We have a role. That's why we embody. That's why we came here, so we could actually get this done, because it can't happen without us. But now there's this other story that's evolving. Well, I guess it's been in some kind of form for a while now, that the sun's going to put out a big pulse. And that pulse is going to basically divide worlds, maybe. It's going to separate the wheat from the chaff, separate the light from the dark. And the dark is preparing by building underground bases and bunkers, whereas the light is pretty much not involved with all that intel, which knows about this the sun and all the changes it's going through, that's increased activity, the number of flares it's had in the last year especially. And the dark is well aware of the fact that this is going on, and so they're building tunnels and bunkers and getting ready to go underground when this does happen, because the Earth is going to be pretty much uninhabitable. So the story is that this is going to happen pretty soon, eventually. When some people think it's when enough people get together and meditate and cause the sun to do that, cause the black hole in the center of the Milky Way to send out a pulse to the sun, and then the sun's going to send it to the Earth, or whatever, how it's going to work. Obviously, I don't believe that. I believe that we are the central players and we have to make this happen. So hopefully, I was thinking on August 21st we were going to be done with all that crap, but this story about how the pulse from the sun is going to come and it's going to change life on Earth forever is back. And if that is going to be the case, it's going to be bad news for us if we don't get done what needs to get done in a timely fashion, because it's going to mean what? It's going to mean that you're going to be stuck with your karma. It's going to be stuck with your decision to take the bait from the darkness many years ago. If you didn't come here as a volunteer, that's why you're here, because you took the bait from darkness a long time ago, and that's why we came here, because you didn't intentionally mean to get stuck here, but you did. But you're going to continue to be stuck here if we don't create the transformation that we need to create in order to lift the Earth into a higher vibration, get it into a higher dimension, if you want to speak in such kind of language. It's going to not appear to be anything other than kind of normal, very, very blissfully and pleasantly normal if we get this transformation to happen. It's not going to appear that we're going through some weird kaleidoscopic kind of change. It's going to be pretty much everyday life to us, but things are just going to become ridiculously better. So I was hoping that we're going to be done with all that crap, but still we got a bunch of people that believe in this galactic pulse idea. Well, if we're going to be rational, we ask ourselves, what are we going to do if there's a big galactic pulse from the sun? How do you prepare for that? Well, you do all that stuff they keep telling you to do. You raise your vibration, you get more crystals, you eat more organic food, you drink better water, you start to meditate, you start to do your little japa beads, you do whatever is considered spiritual. Instead of actually just investigating reality really deeply, asking really good questions, instead of thinking, how can I create something beautiful and unique and good myself and not worry about all that kind of so-called spiritual crap, you think of all that kind of garbage that everybody has the same answer for. That's what you need to do for this big galactic pulse from the sun, I suppose, is to do all this so-called spiritual crap, which is not spiritual at all. All this stuff that you can get from the New Age store. Just go spend $1,000 on crap there and you're spiritual all of a sudden or something. But realistically, how do you prepare for that? The answer is you can't. So, if we're going to do anything at all, we have to prepare for what future we can actually prepare for, but we should also prepare for a future that is most feasible. So the likelihood of this world continuing on as it currently is, as bad as it is, maybe gets worse, but it pretty much, the gears keep chugging. And we just go through year after year after year more of this kind of horse shit. That's the most feasible future that we see. And it's ugly. It's always been ugly here, and it's getting uglier and uglier. We are witnessing the population becoming sicker and sicker and sicker due to more and more poisons in the water and the food and the drugs in the air and all kinds of EMF radio waves, frequencies as well. So we're getting polluted, we're getting bombarded in many, many, many different ways, and it's getting worse and worse and worse for us. That's the future that we have to look at, that's the future we have to prepare for, but there's plenty of reason right now to get involved rather than looking at I'll say it's a demonic tactic to look several years into the future. To look at 2020, what's going to happen in 2025, 2030. That's a demonic tactic. It's getting you to look into the future, pretending that everything's pretty much kind of cool with the way we got things right now, but it's going to just get worse in a number of years if we keep going on the way we are. We got to understand that things are horrifically bad right now. They don't need to get worse to justify us getting into action right now. So don't let the threat of what's going to occur in a few years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, be a credible threat to you. Say, the hell with that. Things are bad enough right now. 150,000 people are going to die today in this world. Now, if they all died pleasant, blissful deaths in their sleep, I wouldn't give a fuck. But most of them are not. Most of them have died a long death over a number of years in which they've suffered, they've deteriorated such that it becomes kind of like, oh well, by the time they finally kick the bucket. But there's a lot of injuries, illnesses, things on the way that are horrific for that person. When you see someone limping around in public, understand that person went through probably a pretty traumatic experience to get that limp. Or whatever that person's ailment is, whatever their injury, whatever their condition, if they're not an exuberant display of health, understand that there's been a slow deterioration, maybe with some punctuated severe crises along the way. It's not okay for us to move in this current direction, even if things pretty much stay at a flatline rate. Right now, it's still not okay. Even if things get quite a bit better, like get a few % better every year for the next however many years. That's not even okay either. Because if you're looking at this through the eyes of a soul, of a divine being, one of God's true children, you look at one thing out in that world that's horrific, and that's more than enough to spur you into action to say, we got to solve that one person's problem there. If there's one person lost in the woods right now somewhere, all 7.35 billion of the rest of us need to come to that person's aid. That would happen in a sane world. Obviously, because horrific events are so normal to us, we don't give too much of a fuck, but also we are so disempowered and we don't know how we can even help. And I understand if you feel that way, and I've felt like that a lot of the years too. So now I have a plan, now I have a vision, and it's pretty much got to be the way that I'm talking about. Because if we're thinking in terms of how we can use our bodies, how we can use our muscles to get things done, we're crazy. You know, I was stopping at a stoplight yesterday, I was looking at all the trash at the intersection. I was thinking, yeah, it'd be nice, you know, to come out with a broom and just clean some of this crap up. But that's not how things are going to change here. We're not going to be able to get things done with our bodies. You know, this whole idea of, you know, creating like little incremental changes by doing little things like that they add up. Well, they add up, but what does it matter if we're being poisoned the way we are? What does it matter if you do all these damn things and then eventually you suffer a health crisis which prevents you from doing any more of that stuff, and you're suffering all day long? I mean, the cliches are that, well, that you lived a good, meaningful life. No. We got to raise our standards about what life is about. Salvation ultimately should be a fun thing. And I don't think there's a whole lot of other people that are really supporting this idea as much as I am, that salvation should be a fun endeavor, that we can have a blissful time saving the world. But we got to get the understanding first, and I'm using all my energy just to remain in my body right now, and then I'm trying to get some stuff done on top of it. I haven't done a video lately because the time that I've been getting alone, which has been less and less these days, I like to write when I'm the only person in the house, so I've got about 70,000 words done on my book. You can't see too well what that is, but I started recording in the beginning of end of July, and I don't know what the hell this says. Yeah, so the first 10 days of August, I was doing a couple thousand words a day, and then it deteriorated, it kind of tapered off. I'm up to about 70,000 and 13 chapters. So I'm writing this book now in the hopes that that's going to attract attention to me, such that people see me as a credible source. Because right now I've been so disenfranchised by the world. I'm a non-entity despite having made this CD, which I did a really great job with. Despite my attempts to reach people to get any attention, they're all pretty much failing. So I have these ideas, but right now my current MO is that I need to become somewhat of a real entity in order for anybody to pay attention to me. The only way for me to do that in my current thinking is, well, I got to write a book so I can put all these ideas together in one place. So if someone really wants to get the gestalt of what I'm teaching, that they'll be able to understand it in that one book. If I get a few people that are worth a shit to say, this guy is okay, we kind of like him, then other people will be like, okay, well, I think we'll check that guy's crap out. Fucking talking is just such a pain in the ass. The fact that I have to articulate is such a chore that I have to articulate, that I have to write a book. I mean, reality is so messed up, so deteriorated here. It's so clearly a nightmare that I even have to articulate any of this. Let's get the fuck to work. That's all we should be saying right now. I mean, we should, when we go out and we have conversations with people, can you believe this shit? Can you believe the direction we're going in? I don't care who you're talking to. Talking to your cashier, talking to the guy ringing the bell in front of the store. You know, when you go out and you do stuff, that's what should be the conversation. Can you fucking believe this? Can you fucking believe what direction we're moving in? And you're talking about all this kind of inane BS, and it's becoming more and more and more painful to overhear conversations, to hear what you're talking about. We got one thing to do here. We got one thing to do, and that's to save this world. And we're doing all kinds of nonsense. We got these fucking hurricanes going on. So what about some hurricanes? You could see them coming a week ago. We're being slowly poisoned to death, but that's not too entertaining. However many thousand people are going to die today from suicide and murder and all these other things. When a few people die of a hurricane, big fucking deal about these hurricanes. I know what's up. I'm not buying the bullshit about these hurricanes. The news presents itself as a resource that cares about you by showing what's happening with the hurricane. They don't give a fuck about you. Drug advertisers pay more than anyone else to get the news on. And they are the ones poisoning you. That's what you should care about, not the fucking hurricanes. Gotta go.